Now that I've asked you to all please be seated, I wonder if everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Mathey?
Here.
Alderman Sage?
Here.
Alderman Mwambe?
Here.
Alderman Burgess? Here. Alderman Painter? Here. Alderman Schmidt? Here. Alderman Black? Here. Alderman Hammond? Here. Alderman Bray? Here. Mayor Renner?
Here. Thank you very much. And we do have a quorum, and we're going to go to recognitions and proclamations. First, we have a presentation of the City of Bloomington Police Department Police Officers Commission Certificate to an officer who has completed probation, and that is Ashley Stacy. I wonder if I could ask the Chief to come forward. Did you want to start, Chief, before I read the proclamation?
I'll give a little introduction
please,
here, and then we can start.
Anybody who wants to come, any of our officers, anyone wants to come up, please come on up to the dais. Take pictures, whatever. Come on.
Okay. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Officer Ashley Stacy. Ashley has completed her probationary period and is well on her way to being one of our most active and dependable officers. Officer Stacy was a three-sport athlete in high school, those sports being volleyball, basketball, and track and field. In high school track, she was a three-time state champion, twice for the long jump, once for the 200-meter dash. She then went to Michigan State, where she became a Big Ten champion and an NCAA finals qualifier in track and field. She's very proud to still hold the Michigan State school record for the long jump. Officer Stacy attended Thornton Township High School, and at Michigan State she obtained her Bachelor's of Arts in Criminal Justice with a minor of Women and Gender Studies. From there, she went to Illinois State University, where she obtained her Master's of Science in Criminal Justice with a focus on human trafficking and sexual assault, and a graduate certificate in Women and Gender Studies. Prior to starting at BPD, she did two internships, one with the Illinois State Police, the other with the State of Michigan Human Trafficking Task Force. She is here with her girlfriend, Erica Foster. Ashley enjoys reading, working out, and traveling. She also volunteers with the Humane Society and with her high school track and field team when possible. Officer Stacy has already received several recognitions for her outstanding work, to include letters of commendation and an exemplary performance award. From my discussions with Officer Stacy, I know her to be devoted to community service. I believe she's an outstanding addition to our police department and our community. Ashley Stacy.
Ashley and Chief, if you could come forward. Okay. It's definitely a proud day. Thank you so much. What a bio. Man. I just want to say, and again, anyway, the Police Officers Commission, by authority of the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners by the City of Bloomington and the County of McLean and the State of Illinois, we do hereby certify that Ashley Stacy, having been duly sworn, was appointed and commissioned a police officer on the 19th of June 2017. As evidence thereof, we set our hand and seal. And that includes myself, Clay Wheeler, Leslie Yoakum, and Dean Messinger, the chairman of the Police and Fire Review Board, or Police and Fire Board. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have presentation of the Bloomington firefighters who have completed one-year probation, and that's Derek Reardon. And I'm going to go ahead and turn over to the chief. And same thing, anyone who wants to come on up, take pictures, come behind the dais, please come forward.
We like to try to outnumber the police officers, so.
So that's a friendly competition. Please come on up, either side, either way. Come on up. Good to see you. Come on. Good to see you, man. Thanks. Thanks.
There you
Go.
Hey, just before you talk, there you go. Now no awkward. Perfect.
Gotta be quick, so.
Okay, I'm honored to introduce to you Derek Reardon. Derek completed his one-year probation here on January 16th. Derek was born and raised in Hayworth, Illinois. He started in the fire service as a volunteer, then continued his journey as a wildland firefighter in Nevada. He pursued his paramedic license through the McLean County EMS system. Derek is the youngest of 3 sons, whom all are firefighter paramedics. His brother Nick was a Peoria firefighter, and Nathan a normal firefighter. Here to support Derek tonight are his wife Erica, his mother Connie, his brother Nathan's wife, and several nieces and nephews. There are also some in-laws that are here. Please stand up if you're here to support Derek tonight.
I think one person isn't standing yet, but.
All right, we'll do your oath. I'll say aye, and when I pause, say your name.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. I,
Derek Reardon,
having been appointed to the office of,
firefighter paramedic,
in the city of Bloomington,
Illinois.
you'll repeat after me, sorry. In the county of... You want to start over? You want to start?
Yeah, let's start over.
Let's try it again. Ready? It might be my fault because it's my first time doing it here too.
Oh, you paused. Am I going to fill in the blanks? I don't know.
It's a quiz. Okay, let's try it again. I,
Derek Reardon,
having been appointed to the office of
having been appointed to the office of
firefighter in the city of Bloomington,
firefighter in the city of Bloomington,
in the county of McLean,
in the county of McLean,
aforesaid do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of firefighter according to the best of my ability, so help me God. It's much better.
Yeah.
On both of our parts. And have one more.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
If anyone ever teases you about this, the thing that you have to remind them is that Judge Roberts, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, made a very slight snafu in administering the presidential oath in 2009. So say, hey. We have moved to public comment, and we have one person. Again, public comment. People can say whatever they want to say, up to 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be on the agenda. It can be with respect to anything. If you specifically want us to answer you, or you want answers, or you have a particular problem, we have the mayor's open house on Fridays from 4:30 to 5:30 before each regular Monday city council meeting, and we sit around the table in the back, and we can sometimes get you, or usually get you answers right on the spot, and sometimes even solve problems right on the spot. So if you want answers, etc., that's where you go. But the public comment is, again, up to 3 minutes to speak on whatever you'd like. And we have one person, David Kobus. Thank you very much.
All right, since I have 3 minutes, it might sound fast. Okay. Unemployment in McLean County went from 3.6 to 4.4, and a major employer is making changes that will have a negative impact on the community. The traditional method for measuring the burden of property taxes is look at the household's property tax bill and compare it to the home's value. Illinoisans pay the highest property tax in the nation at 2.7%. The unfortunate reality is that Illinois incomes have been stagnant for years and falling when you consider the impact of inflation. Illinois property tax bills for households have grown 3 times faster than household income since 2000. That means more of our hard-earned income is going towards property taxes and less towards groceries, college tuition, retirement savings. In 2017, 6.73% of household incomes went towards property tax, up from 4.3% in 2000. I propose the following. Be careful with these creative financing, hiding things. The city should be in the business of providing quality basic services, emphasis on basic and not luxury. Don't replace a pool with an aqua facility to compete with normal. The council should remove, I say just replace the pool. The council should remove all yearly automatic fee and tax increases. The council should justify these increases when needed instead of putting automatic unjustified increases and burdens on the taxpayers. Most taxpayers don't get a 5% yearly increase in wages, and most pensions are fixed, unlike government workers. Major expenses should be put to the vote in the form of a referendum to get enough input to make the decision. Don't rely and hide behind hand-picked committee recommendations and expensive consultants. We know what the consultant will recommend, spend, spend, spend. Also, things like the welcoming city and sanctuary city ideas should be put to the referendum to get true input. Where is the cost justification for a new library, sports complex, $500,000 in arena maintenance? Raise private donations like BCPA did for these things. Do you know how much we've spent on the sister city boondoggle? How much in travel and food expenses did it cost to fly people to China in the last 10 years? Don't take surpluses, especially that are generated by fee increases, and just find something to spend it on. Return surpluses to the taxpayers. A principle the council should have is to strive to reduce property taxes, fees, gas taxes, and other sales taxes, and not continually keep increasing them. We have had several revenue and fee increases lately. I heard of a surplus of $500,000. There's also a $300,000 savings from consulting in public works and water departments. The general fund is not anticipated to be an ongoing source of revenue, I heard. Stop right there. That should be the red flag. But instead I hear the surplus will allow the council to complete some smaller capital projects. Spend it if you got it, spend it if you don't. Let's see. Also,
I'm sorry, your time's up, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Normally allow 30 minutes. Is there anybody else talking? Can I finish?
It's 3 minutes per person. That's according to our ordinance.
I know, but it's also allowed in 30 minutes, right?
It's 30 minutes in total, 3 minutes per person.
Anybody else going to talk?
There is not, but that's not the way the
I don't
ordinance
have
reads.
much more.
I'm sorry, I can't. Under the ordinance.
No, even though you've got a full 30 minutes allocated and you don't have anybody else to, right?
That's what the ordinance says. I'm sorry.
Thank you for not letting me extend it.
Okay. You can certainly come at any time to the open house or come back. Okay. All right. Under the next item, we move to our consent agenda. Are there any items that any member of the City Council would like to have to remove from the consent agenda for separate consideration?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to remove item 7H.
7H, as in Howman?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yes.
Are there any other items that we would like to have removed for separate consideration? Yes.
7F, please.
7F. Okay. All right. Anything else? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the exception of items 7F and 7H in alphabetical order, not in the order in which they were mentioned?
I will make that motion, Mayor.
Moved by Alderwoman Schmidt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Painter. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you go ahead and vote. Okay. The motion carries 9-0. There are no nays to announce, Madam Clerk. And we will, in order of which they were pulled, I will go to 7H as in Howman. Alderwoman Howman.
Thank you, Mayor. I received several emails concerning this item. The summary in our packet does not show that this item first came to the Liquor Commission in June of 2018. And at that time, Commissioner Baytall had concerns. He stated in his opinion this is not a good spot for it. Commissioner Powell stated it is unfortunate that the area has changed. She is uncomfortable with approving a liquor license. And then you went on to say that as the Liquor Commissioner and Mayor, with the divided Liquor Commission, you could not in good conscience bring this to the City Council for approval. It then came to the Liquor Commission in November. It was tabled. It's shown that 15 to 20% of the sales will be attributed or are attributed to alcohol. I have stopped in at this facility at the corner of Hershey and Route 9. It's a very well-maintained facility. It's clean, it's neat, good customer service, which is also a theft deterrent. But I have to believe that more than 15% of their sales, 15 to 20% of their sales come from alcohol. Just based on the inventory, over half of the selling space is related to alcohol, whether it's wine when you first go in, whether it's 11 of the 18 coolers that hold beer, the alcohol that's at the front by the cash register. So I don't know that we can deny this license, but I just feel that when we're looking at potential liquor licenses, we should have accurate information, and I don't feel that this was accurate information.
Just to clarify, the first hearing, and Mr. Boyle can come forward and perhaps answer some of the questions. The first hearing was different from the second. There was no opposition in the second hearing. There was nobody who spoke from the neighborhood or for anyone who came forward against this. The police officer said they had no incidents of any form. They had no law enforcement concerns. And I think in terms of, I think there was some, I don't know whether or not, and I think Mr. Boyle can speak to this, when someone says that it's going to be 15%, the one thing we can do is monitor that, after the fact. But yes, of course the council can turn this down. It's absolutely the council's prerogative to do whatever. Mr. Boyle, is there something you'd like to add to this?
Not necessarily, except that on the first, at the first hearing, Commissioner Powell said she'd been there several times and there hadn't been any issues. And at that first hearing as well, the police also said they had no issues. And not
Recent issues. I'm sorry.
well, they said they had no issues, and I don't,
Yeah, just to clarify, issues
If they
issues
are-
would be issues and concerns, so it would be
Right.
either general concerns strategically, even if no one had ever been called to the site,
Right.
and there's the question of whether or not
General effect on the
that
neighborhood.
someone has been called to the site, or there had been any situations, and there had been none, but there had been opposition the first time around. There was not the second time. I'm sorry, Mr. Boyle, if you'd continue.
Well, I was going to say that, the way our ordinance reads, the mayor has very broad discretion with respect to changes of ownership, and he can make the decision himself or send it on to the council with a recommendation either to approve or not to approve. And that can be done either with or without a public hearing. In this case, there has been at least one public hearing, as you alluded to, but one on this particular application and set of circumstances, and there wasn't any testimony provided against it at that hearing.
And again, that's one of the reasons why, if you receive any emails, we didn't get anything we had nothing on the record that was negative, that we could base that on. And I thought, given the situation in that it was controversial, it was important enough, rather than just to extend this, to certainly make sure that we brought it to the council.
And that's fine. I'm just questioning the information that was provided concerning the amount of sales that would be attributed to alcohol versus other items, the rest of the grocery items. I obviously no way of knowing what their sales are, but again, just from retail background, you don't have that much space for one item and only get 15% sales from that use of the space.
Okay.
I think
Mr. Boyle, anything else you want to add?
I was just going to say that I think there was, Commissioner Jordan asked some questions about that. I'm not,
Right.
you know.
He did, yeah. I think I think that was reflected in the record, or in the minutes.
Right.
Anything else? Is there a motion either way on this?
I will go ahead and make a motion to approve this as presented to us.
Is there a second? Second by Alderman Schmidt. Excuse me, made by Alderman Schmidt, second by Alderman Black. If everyone will go ahead, unless there's I don't see any lights for discussion, if you go ahead and vote. Thank you. The motion carries 9-0. There are no nays to announce, Madam Clerk. And now we move to item 7F, and I will turn that over to Alderman Matthey.
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. I had a bunch of questions that I got asked earlier. I had one more question, and I think maybe Karen had one question that I had seen her email before and had never gotten answered yet. So, and I don't know if this is appropriate for Jim or Tim or whoever. But my understanding was we had a 2% convenience fee for credit card processing on there, and the notes we got back said that was no longer the case. I'm just curious when that went away. Do we have any idea on that one?
Who would be best to discuss that? Scott? Scott Rathman, Finance Director, is going to come up.
A little new to the billing side, but my understanding is there's never been a 2%, and we've confirmed, I mean, we looked at your bill and the credit card processing through our processor, and you were charged exactly the amount for the $82. And we had our billing manager review her bill the same, and there's no charge. We've never done that.
Then I must be putting it together with something else. The other question I think was regarding late fees on the water bills. Karen?
Yes, I had raised an issue a while ago about late fees being assessed on water bills, and it wasn't clear to me. They're at 10%, which is quite steep. So if you don't have money to pay a bill, then you don't have money to pay 10% more. And it wasn't clear to me who was collecting that money. I looked at Ameren and NICOR service fees. They were at 1.5%. So that 10% seemed really out of whack. And I just was trying to follow, the line back to who set that, who gets that.
Right, and that was forwarded to me for follow-up
Okay.
by Public Works, and I have yet to do that. So I'm not sure of the origins of that, but I still have that as far as like getting back to you on that topic.
Okay, and I'm happy to provide you with a couple of bills as examples if that would help you. I mean, yeah.
Definitely.
Because it
Any
seems
information you can
very
provide.
steep, and I want to make sure we're
Right.
we're in sync with
Certainly.
other fees. All right, thank you.
I have no more. Scott, unless you need something, I'll make a motion to approve 7F as presented.
Go ahead.
And is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
And second, and did you want to add a comment?
I do. Thank you. So going through this, and I'm glad you pulled this, we can't do anything about it at this point in time, but from a policy standpoint, we should be doing all we can to discourage paper and postage and all that sort of usage and get as much automated as possible. That's the only way we're going to be able to be sustainable moving forward. So can't do anything at this point in time, but maybe in 6 months, 9 months from now, we can talk about maybe ways to incentivize people to do online billing, not take paper copies, because that's very costly.
Thank you very much. Anything else on this? Okay, if everyone will go ahead and vote then. Motion carries 9-0, and there are no nays to announce, Madam Clerk. We move right along to the regular agenda, and that's consideration of a resolution authorizing a change order in the amount of $25,000 to the contract between the City of Bloomington and House of Levine and Associates for professional consulting services to review and rewrite the Bloomington zoning ordinance as requested by the Community Development Department and the Planning Division. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Mr. Gleason, and then we have some council discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item that we're asking Council to approve is a $25,000 contract extension going through the changes in the code that's being proposed. This is to cover the additional time that's being given to the community in the form of outreach. So a little bit more meetings that were anticipated originally, but we think it's good value that we take this approach before approval. The $25,000, we don't anticipate that we'll fully use that dollar amount. I think we're at the $18,000 mark right now, but we just put a little bit of a cushion in there. If there's any additional questions, I'll ask Director Bob Mark to come forward, but request approval by council.
Okay. Questions, comments? Yes, Alderwoman Hellman.
I was just going to make a motion that we approve the change order in the amount of $25,000.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Painter. Any further discussion? Okay, if everyone will go ahead and vote. The motion carries 9-0. There are no nays to announce, Madam Clerk. We move right out along to item 8B, consideration of a professional services contract with Hanson Professional Services for an intersection design study for the intersection of Washington Street and Euclid and Brown in the amount of $25,800 as requested by the Public Works Department. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that over also to our City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is one that is designed for intersection improvement, and as you recall, it was prior to my time here, but when we had the discussion for the Tawanda Barnes Road and Ireland Grove Road, I believe it was also a council initiative and priority that this intersection be looked at as well. So that day has come, requesting the approval for this item so that we can do the design work on this intersection improvement.
I'd like to make a motion we approve as presented.
Is there? I bet I know who the second is.
Oh, with a hallelujah second.
Okay, so moved by Alderman Black, second by Alderwoman Schmidt. Any further discussion or comments?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, if everyone will go ahead and vote on the motion, then that's presented. Thank you. Motion carries 9-0. There are no nays to announce, Madam Clerk. We move right along to our City Manager and Finance Director's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just real quickly, I don't think we're going to be able to show the upcoming events because our main projector is out. Is that correct, Scott?
Pretty good.
And there we go. They're on the side monitors. That's the events for the upcoming next couple of weeks. Also, as an aside, this is sort of a stay tuned public information message, but with the weather the way that it is. You've got Unit 5, District 87, that's already canceled schools, I think, for a Tuesday, Wednesday on one, and a Wednesday, Thursday on the other. I've reached out to County Administrator Bill Wasson, Town Manager Pam Reese, and we're going to coordinate whatever efforts there might be if, in fact, we close our governmental centers for the non-essential positions on Wednesday. But just we'll do a media release. That decision has not been made yet, but we're keeping our eyes on the weather. And at this time, I'm going to call up Finance Director Scott Rathman. This is the end of month Finance Director's report that will always have a hint of FY20 in it as well. So thank you.
I feel like I need the whole finance department up here like the police and fire one of these days. Get my back on things. Okay. I just wouldn't show. This, again, it's been an easy job to do these reports month after month because We've had these favorable trends with the revenue. I'm trying to pick out just a couple of revenue categories each month to sort of highlight. This month I'd like to draw your attention to the utility tax line. We're up $34,000, but what's underlying that is we've got electric, water, gas, and telecom. The electric, water, and gas, they're up $175,000 combined. Telecom is under budget, $141,000. It's been going down steadily over the last few years. I think everyone's probably understands why that's the case. You know, people moving away from landlines. Our contact at the Illinois Department of Revenue also says it may have something to do with the way the cell phones are packaging their services. You know, you're paying $200 a month. You know, how much of that is actual the telephone versus data, et cetera, et cetera. So it's having a significant impact on that line. The weather is helping us out, you know, with the gas and the electric. So it kind of sneaks what's going on outside. But, you know, at the city here, it's a favorable kind of situation. The local use tax, that's $177,000 over budget. That pretty much a direct correlation to the internet sales tax that went into effect in October. That started trending up before then. I think, you know, a lot of out-of-state retailers started getting that in place before it actually went into effect, just getting ready for the move. Yes, sir.
I have it on my email, and I'm going to forward it to you right now, but we don't have printed copies.
That'll be good.
I say unless I'm told to run and make them, and I'd be happy to do that too.
I would just say that I think for the interest of residents, they're probably interested too, so however we can push that out,
Okay.
this is very interesting information.
And then this would be available on our website too.
Yeah, is it ordinarily available on the website, or would that be something new?
No.
I was just going to say we can get it to Scott Sprouse to add it to the website. Generally, it's not. There's just paper copies that are provided here. But like I said, for right now, I'll email it out to everyone, and then I'll ask Scott to post it after the meeting so we do have it available.
It's good data.
Yeah. And then I think part of it is in the past, this is one of the reforms, great things that our city manager has done. But in the past, I think we try to get everything out on the internet so that people can get as much information as they can about their government. But so yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. Anyway,
The one thing I'll comment on is that this is kind of a subset of the full monthly report. Of course, this gets out a lot earlier. That takes us a couple more weeks typically to finalize before I do this, or after I do this, excuse me. So this information is out on the internet, or on the website, excuse me, just not as timely as this presentation.
Right, but these show trends, right? I mean, this is that sort of high-level trending, like we're going up with sales tax, or it's not
Right,
trending as well.
but like this exhibit's in that report. It's actually probably twice as long. It's got a lot of other revenue categories.
Exactly.
So there's really no additional information that's being provided during this presentation that's not in the monthly report.
I see what you're saying, and the monthly report is on the web.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We could put a link in the minutes, somebody could just click through and find this in the monthly report.
Not this presentation.
No, but
Right.
the same metrics.
Yes.
Somebody could just click through to page 244 or whatever they might be. But you guys decide.
Yeah, and I can put a link in my electronic minutes. That's not a problem because I do have the report.
thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult to see. So I'm going to focus most of the coming months. I'll be focused on the projection column. Up until last month, I had just updated the revenue line and the salaries and benefits and a couple of other expense. We're 8 months in now, so we're looking at each line and trying to do a projection accordingly. A couple of that I'll highlight. Charges for services, this is down somewhat. I mean, this is a very large category, so just a small deviation can result in an increase or decrease. Some of the budgeting when we went through last year with the assumptions that we made for parking, fee increases, some of those are just not materializing right now. I mean, $100,000 is not a real material deviation from a full revenue budget, but we're trying to look at each one of those. And parking, the BCPA is doing great right now, don't get me wrong, but as far as the budget goes, the total revenue is slightly under where we budgeted in 2019. The $150,000, it's a little even hard for me to see, on miscellaneous revenue, that we had a placeholder in that line in the budget for business registration and the general fee increases we're going to do throughout the city. So those projections are all kind of in the other line, so that's why there's a decrease in that line as well. Moving down, salaries, the vacancy savings. One thing I wanted to highlight was, you can see that benefits shows like a $100,000 addition to the budget. The issue there is we have work comp payments, and so it's really just a salary payment, but it gets classified as a benefit. So that's not an increase in benefits, in health insurance and that type of thing. It's really kind of an accounting anomaly, so you could almost offset that to the salaries, but I wanted to highlight that. The contractuals, one of the material items that was reduced in that line item was BN Advantage was taken down. We originally budgeted $364,000 for that. Through discussions with them, that was taken down to $125,000. That was in contractuals last year, so that's the most significant portion of that decrease. I didn't really want to capture that until we were 8 months in because that's another large category where we could have some trending going other directions. I wanted to comment on, also some of the issues that when it comes to projections that we encounter, it's just like, what's happening outside with snow and, the snow and ice department of the general fund. I wanted to give you a couple of statistics here. The overtime for snow and ice has ranged from $332,000 over budget in 2014 to just $52,000, or actually total, $332,000 total in 2014 to $52,000 in 2016. So, we can't predict Mother Nature, and you can see that's a really material movement. So our projections, we do the best we can, but sometimes, there's certain things that pop up that you just have no control over. Oh, and I want to highlight, I guess maybe not most importantly, but with all the adjustments that we've done in the projection column, that our projected surplus at this time has gone from $1.2 million up to about $1.5 million for 2019.
Okay.
And then just with the enterprise funds, I'd just like to highlight, it's hard to see, but the annualized trend target, 8 months.
Actually, if I could
Yes,
just clarify one thing before we go to the enterprise funds,
Certainly.
and that is in terms of property taxes. I mean, you have taxes, because and there had been in public comment a question about property taxes, but we've not had an increase in property taxes in Bloomington in over 11 years, and actually it's been slightly decreased. That is the city of Bloomington's piece of that. Like my property taxes have gone up considerably, but none of that has anything to do with the city of Bloomington. That's all other taxing districts. And then the other thing is that there was some statement about, no, we don't give 5% increases in raises, right? We're generally somewhere around the 2 to 2.5 range. Is that a fair statement?
Fair statement, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
And then with the enterprise funds, I was commenting that the trend, that's the way we look at the budget too, 8 months out of 12, 67%. You can't apply that to all categories because you have the deviations based on seasonality. But with revenues, it is something that we like to look at. Water will trend with seasonality more than some of these other ones. But you can see that sewer, storms down a little bit. Solid waste, which I had some concerns over at the beginning of the year because we had the fee increases going into effect. But they're all trending right with the forecasted trend or the targeted trend, the 8 months out of 12, 67%. And any questions?
Questions of Mr. Rapid? No? Seeing none? Thank you very much. Thanks for the update. We're glad to get this information. Again, maybe we can work on the hard copies and other kinds of things in the future. And thank you, Leslie, also for making sure that there's a link so that if people want to take a closer look at the latest update, they can. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over then. Mr. City Manager, anything else you want to add? Okay. First thing, well, really the only thing I'd want to do is to thank Alderwoman Schmidt for taking care of the township while I had a meeting that went longer than I thought. And, yeah, Alderman Black.
That you were detained.
Yeah, I suppose that's a word. And Alderman Black tried his hardest to get me out of the meeting. Thank you so much. But thank you, and thank you all, and appreciate everything everyone does. At this point, aldermanic comments. Alderman, we'll go around the dice. Bray and then Black.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make mention that the Chamber conducted its gala celebration Saturday night, and many in town attended. I think they said that they broke all attendance records in the past, over 700 in attendance, and many here attended. And just congratulations to our Chamber for their successes, and congratulations to those that were awarded for reaching some amazing goals and really proving out that Bloomington is moving, and Bloomington is moving forward in a positive direction, and our small businesses and large businesses are prospering.
Okay. Thank you very much,
night.
Alderman Bray. Appreciate that. Alderman Black.
Thank you. And I was blown away about how they had the fireworks on the stage during the opening production. It was intense. So it was good. And acrobats. My mother used to always say, you're never anything until you have background dancers. So the Chambers made it. Anyway, Tim, when you get a chance, I'm just kind of curious what the impact of the federal shutdown was on the city, whether it be monies that are distributed through CDBG or whatever. Don't need the answer tonight, but at some point in a report, just kind of interested to know what that impact was on our community locally.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry. That's right.
I will make a motion.
Jump into that. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn into executive
session. Sorry.
For the purpose of claim settlement and discussion of collective bargaining.
Thank you. Is there a second to that? Second by Alderman Miller-Lombway. If you'll go ahead and vote. Motion carries 9-0. There are no nays to announce, Madam Clerk. And then just so that everyone knows in the media, you're all welcome to stay around to the very end, but the only thing that we're going to entertain is a motion to come back into regular session and then a separate motion to adjourn. So nothing else is happening publicly.
Alderman Howman, I just want to talk to you just briefly.
Okay.